Hey foodies, thanks for watching. So at the beginning of every year, I like to compile a whole pile of recipes that I want to make throughout the year, and it just gives me a sense of direction on where I want to go and what I need to make. And one of these recipes, I just copied down and made my notes and adjustments, and I forgot to put the title on it. And so we're gonna be in for a surprise. I know it's a cookie, and I'm kind of excited to try it, so let's do it together. So it wants me to take some chocolate chips and some butter, and I'm gonna melt this on a double boiler. And so I'm just gonna let that sit there for a couple minutes and just let it do its thing. I've got my, my water on medium, so it's not going to just scorch, and it's important that the water doesn't touch the bowl, or you might cause condensation and you might get water into the chocolate, which will cause the chocolate to seize, and you don't really want seized chocolate. So while that's doing that, we're going to crack 2 eggs, and I'm going to, because I have nothing else in this bowl, I can just crack them right into the bowl. There we go, look at that. And I'm gonna use my hand mixer and I'm gonna beat these. It's been about 2 minutes. I'm gonna check on my chocolate and give it a stir. Look at that, it's beautiful. The butter's melting. That bowl is going to be really warm, and it's almost fully melted. Okay, I think I'm going to shut that off the heat. I'm going to say that's pretty well melted. I do see a few little chunks of butter. That's going to melt over time. So while that's finishing up, I'm going to pour in my sugar and my vanilla, and I'm going to beat this up. Okay, that was about, I'm going to say 6 minutes or so. I'm just looking for this to be tripled in size, and I think that's gotten there. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to set that aside. I'm going to mix in my cocoa and my Frankie's gluten-free all-purpose flour blend. You can see I like using Frankie's gluten-free all-purpose flour blend. That was baking powder and some salt. And I'm just going to whisk this together, and it's mostly just to keep the clumps and everything so that it's nice and mixed together. And don't worry about lumps or anything like that, because we're going to be sifting it soon as well. Okay, I'm going to get rid of my bowls. Those bowls can go. So let's get this chocolate mixture over here. Whew, that's warm. Just leave that there. Give that a stir. That looks really nice. So I'm going to put 1/3 of the egg mixture into the chocolate, and we're essentially tempering it. It's not really tempering it, but we're essentially just tempering the egg. We're bringing the temperature of the chocolate down. That looks really nice. Okay, so now I'm going to pour in the rest. I should have really gone the other way, but we'll correct that soon enough. Okay. And I want to fold this in to the mixture just until no more streaks appear. And the reason why you're folding it and not whisking it is you don't want to lose all that air you just whipped in to the eggs. You're going to lose a little bit, and that's okay. But you want to keep as much of that as you can in it. And I'm just going around and then tipping it on top of itself. Okay, so I'm going to call that good. Now we're going to sift in our mixture. Oh yeah, look at all the lumps of cocoa there. I'll just pat that down with my finger. Feel a little bit of the salt, and that's all right. Okay, and we're going to just fold this in as well. This looks like a really good chocolate cookie. I can't wait to try it. I'm making sure I get all the edges. I don't want any little bits of... Oh, that looks really nice. Of flour or raw cocoa left. And I'm going to say that's pretty good. I'm just going to scrape my scraper down, and then I'm going to do one last round. There we go. I can remove that. So I've got a really large baking sheet. You can use regular size baking sheets, and I'm going to just grab a tablespoon here, and it says drop them by the tablespoon, leaving at least 2.5 centimeters or 1 inch of space between. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. And it's important to use parchment paper because I think these things are going to stick. And not very much sticks to parchment paper. So this is going to go into my preheated oven of 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 175 degrees Celsius for about 9 to 10 minutes. I'm going to keep an eye on them just to check on them, and then I'm going to pull them out, we're going to let them cool, and then we're going to decorate them up. See you in a moment. So the cookies took 8 minutes in my oven. At the 8.5 minute mark, I had burnt the bottom of some of them, so really keep a close eye on them because they do cook really quick. I've gone ahead and I've microwaved a little bit of chocolate, and I've done that in 30-second bursts. And then what you do is you want to melt it just to the point where it's like just past halfway melted. And then you stir up the rest, and then all of the solid chunks act as seeds to the rest of the crystals. And that allows your chocolate to stay in temper. And then it won't get that bloom effect. So I'm just finishing up the chocolate here, giving it lots of stirs. And it looks really, really good. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. Let's get the chocolate cookies. And these turned out really well. I mean, they look and smell divine. Okay, so I've got some sprinkles here, and what you're supposed to do is you dip half the cookie in chocolate. Oh, let's get the back side as well. There we go. Half the cookie in chocolate. Oh, that's not even half the cookie. There we go. And I'm gonna shake it off a little bit, set it down. I'm gonna let it sit and rest for just a moment. And then I'm gonna take some sprinkles and I'm gonna sprinkle the tops. You don't wanna wait too long on your sprinkling with the chocolate, with the sprinkles on the chocolate, because the chocolate's going to set up quite quickly. You want to make sure your tray is cold. I actually, it's -5 here today, so I took my cookie sheet and just sat outside for a few minutes just to let the cookies and the tray, most of the tray itself, cool, so that when I did this, I knew that the chocolate would set up. These look so good. That one's almost set up, so I'll just keep going until one of them is set up. And you want to make sure these cookies are nice and cool before you do this, or you risk taking your chocolate out of temper, and then you have like funny looking chocolate cookies. Oh, you can see them setting up really nicely here. Well, I think this one's, considering it was the first one, it's probably set up enough for me to just pop it off. Oh yeah, it's still another minute or so away, but I think it's close enough for me to give it a bite and give it a try. I love the smell of it. You can see there's little bits of dark in there, and that's okay. You don't want it to be so dark it looks charred or caramelized, as I say. And then the chocolate. So I mean, we've got a triple chocolate cookie. It's kind of fun. Let's give it a try. Wow, there's so much chocolate in there. It's a really nice balance of cocoa and sweet, and I don't taste the egg at all. I thought with whipping up all those eggs and having so little flour, it would be more of a chewy cookie. This is definitely not a chewy cookie. It's more of a, I don't want to say a crisp, but it does like come apart. So it's really nice. I'm gonna make these again. If you're looking for the recipe, you can visit glutenfreeguy.ca. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Pinterest. And coming up next is this. See you soon. Mmm. Mmm, 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 mmm.